Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to an all-new edition of WAWR Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Mr. James Gogue. Guys, before we introduce our featured guest of the evening, we do have to remind everyone that the show is brought to you by FightSaga.com. Guys, for all the latest boxing news, please go visit FightSaga.com on the daily. But this would not be an episode of WAWR Week Radio on Sunday without the counsel of Maestro James Gogue. James, how are you doing this evening, brother?
Hey, Joe. Get ready to get another episode on tonight. There was a lot of fights yesterday. Golly. Boy, thank God. Nah, I can't say thank God. Teofimo Lopez's fight got canceled because look at all the hard training. Look at all the hard training him and his opponent went through, man, to get it. Scratched at the last minute because he tested positive for COVID. I never wish that on nobody, man. And no. I just hope he recovers and they get it on in August. But golly, all that hard training, all of a sudden, Hey Joe, I've been through that before. You get ready for a fight, all of a sudden, your fighter gets injured, you got to pull out. God, dog. Ugh.
Well, please elaborate on this, Coach, because this is even worse. Because both Teofimo Lopez as well as George Kambosos Jr., they're fighting at 35 and they're big 35-pounders who have to cut weight and they're peaking at the right time. What do they have to do now that the fight has been changed to August 14th? That's got to be detrimental in their bodies.
Well, me, honestly, Joe, I take a week off to, just to detox, okay?
Yeah.
Just let your body recover, rejuvenate again, okay? Then I'd get back in the gym probably, because you're already in shape, Joe. It ain't going to hurt if you take a week off, all right, to recover, regenerate your muscles, your mentality. Then you're not going to gain a lot of weight, Joe, okay?
Yeah.
You got to keep your discipline on. Even though you're taking a week off, you still maintain that discipline in your diet. So take a week off to 10 days. Teofimo, hell, man, this COVID stuff.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
Trust me, man. I know firsthand, brother. It's no joke. And to be honest with you, I haven't been the same since, and I got it back in January.
Exactly. You don't know how he's gonna. You don't know how he's going to respond when he comes back. You know what I mean? Is it still going to affect him or not? Everybody's different. Some people, after a few days, no big deal. But he's a young kid, though. He's a young kid, Joe. So we'll see. We'll see how it affects him. But, he's got to get better, recover. Main thing is watch his diet, okay? Don't go out there and go back to living like a normal human being, eating what you want. Maintain a Spartan lifestyle to your diet. Take a week off. Don't do nothing. If I was I'd be take a little vacation, 10-day vacation, and hang out. Kambosos, but his family's back in Australia, and you can't go back over there because if you go back to Australia, I heard they put you under quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yep, so 14 days. That's right.
And his family can't come out because I'm pretty sure they're stuck there because they're pretty strict over there. So. Oh man, basically, I would just unwind, Joe, and then get back to it. You know what I mean? And after you let your body detox and rejuvenate again.
Yeah, he was understandably pissed, and he issued a statement that we're not going to go into, but yeah, he was understandably and justifiably pissed that this fight was postponed to August 14th. We'll see how that does, and we'll touch on it the closer we get to the date. But last week also, Gogue, we do have to get your take on this before we move forward. There was a press conference between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder to promote their third fight. And, quite surprising to a lot of people. Deontay Wilder showed up with headphones on and remained completely silent. Even afterwards, he failed to, discuss this fight and everything that had happened leading up to it with the mainstream media. And before I get your take on it, I'd like to read you a quote from Paulie Malignaggi. You can tell me if you agree with him or not. He stated this. He said, quote, "To me, it was very telling that Deontay Wilder elected to go silent, but we'll see how it plays out. If he really, really believed all the nonsense and excuses that he was saying leading up to this point, he would have said that in Tyson Fury's face. He would have said that with Tyson Fury in the room where Tyson could hear him. He did none of that. It made me realize that Deontay Wilder doesn't really believe any of that stuff. He's trying to convince himself, and he's hoping to convince himself by fight night that he can do this. He's hoping that every day in the gym can bring him more confidence than the day before. So when he reaches fight night, he can have the confidence to maybe take it into the ring and hope that it translates into success. The press conference showed me that his confidence is not there at this time. The biggest thing of all is facing your conqueror, being in the room and telling him so he can hear you with his own ears. You can't say to reporters, to the media on the phone or on the internet, and then when the guy is in your face, you're suddenly as quiet as a mouse. You can't do that. That's just pure fighting psychology. End quote. What say you? What do you think about that?
Well, Joe, look, I just remember fighters in the past when they lost or they got knocked out, you know, like Muhammad Ali. You think he let it affect him when he lost? You know, okay, not. When he had his jaw broken by I think it was Ken Norton. Okay, Norton. Yeah, or you know, guys like Larry Holmes, when they lost, they come back. You know, they talk to the media. They what do you call it? They don't go in a shell like Deontay Wilder did. You know, he went in the shell, Joe. Okay, when he got his ass whooped that bad like he did last time, he heard it all, man. You know, all the negative and all the negativity, and he probably thought he was going to hear all them, you know, the reporters bringing up all those questions he didn't want to hear. That's what basically it, Joe. He probably didn't want to listen to all those reporters ask him questions that, you know, he didn't want to hear. So he brought his headphones and didn't want to talk to nobody. And this unprofessional. Number one, it's unprofessional. Okay. Yep. Look at the fighters in the past, any weight division. You lost, you get knocked out, no big deal. Well, it's a big deal, but you're a professional to come back from it. Okay. And you know, when you're going to the buildup of a fight, you got to promote the fight. Okay. You got to talk to the media because without the media, there ain't no promotion of the fight. So that's right. To me, Joe, you know, him blocking out and don't want to ask nobody any questions. To me, Joe, deep down, I just think he's really worried, really nervous. You know, he talks all that big shit, him and his coach. Oh, man, we're working on this. We're working on that. We're working on this. That's all. To me, that's all smoke, a smoke screen, okay? When he gets in that ring, and he starts getting hit by those punches again, he's going to forget everything that Malik Scott taught him, okay? So, you know, he's being real focused right now, I can see. But, Joe, he's overdoing it. And when you overdo it, when you're over-focused, that tells me there's a nervousness, insecurity deep down inside him, okay? That, you know, he don't know if he's telling everybody, I'm going to be champion of the world, hyping himself up. You don't need to hype yourself up, man. Okay? If you know you're going to do it, you don't need to hype yourself up. You don't need to tell the world. All right? You know, deep down, you got that confidence. But right now, I don't think he's got that confidence deep down in him, Joe. There's an insecurity and a nervousness. I don't think he's scared. I think he's real nervous. I think there's an insecurity deep down in him. So, but he can punch now. Okay? Yep. That's right. That's one thing he got going for him. So if he hits Tyson Fury right, you know, I think that insecurity in him will go away. But if he gets hit and he keeps on getting pummeled by Fury and the fight ain't going his way, and you can see Fury, hey, this is the third time they fought. And Fury, he knows, you know, he has a high familiarity with what Wilder's gonna do. Okay. Yep. Yeah, you know what I mean. He'll know what to do. Like I said, he's got more skills. He's bigger. He's got more boxing IQ than Wilder. Okay, there's that big separation, Joe. big separation from the last fight.
And most importantly, Gogue, he already knows that he can knock his man out.
Yeah.
He is brimming with confidence.
The main thing is the skills. The main thing is the skills. Okay, he's got the better jab. Okay, which is number one. Okay, he's bigger. He's more physical. He can push that little guy back. Deontay Wilder only weighed what, 215 pounds.
Yep.
Fury weighed 260. Oh my God, he had a big, 45-pound weight advantage over him.
He came in 273 for his last fight.
Oh, so he was 40, 50 pounds heavier. Joe, could you imagine that? A guy, leaning on you, wrestling with you, pushing you back. Oh, my God.
Just ask Mike Tyson against Lennox Lewis.
Yeah. Perfect example. Yeah. So, like I said, man, to me, Joe, the way he was acting, to me, man, it's your job as a professional, man, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't go your way last time, but be a big boy. Be a man, all right?
Yep.
And do your job when you need to promote this fight, because it's on pay-per-view, and the money that they're getting, man, they're going to have to do a lot of pay-per-views to sell this one. So to me, he was acting like a little bitch, okay? A little bitch.
I tell you what, Gogue, now that I had my second vaccination for coronavirus, I'm going to be attending and I'm going to be covering this fight for Fight Saga, my first fight since the pandemic. Thank you, Kelly Swanson.
Okay.
Appreciate it. So I'll be there reporting, and we'll do the show live from Las Vegas when I'm
by the way,
covering that fight. Yep.
Kelly took care of you.
Kelly Swanson is a good person. She always takes care of everybody. Yeah.
All right. That's good. I know Kelly I know her a little, but I know her way back then when she was working with Bo. She was a PR public relations person for Riddick, Big Daddy Bo back in the days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Well, I tell you what, it just say you're showing your age, Coach.
Oh man, yeah. Geez. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, let's shift gears now, and let's go to let's go to the Don Haskins Center, home of the UTEP Miners in El Paso, Texas. We're in the main event. Jaime Munguia, your favorite defensive fighter, made Kamil Szeremeta, former IBF title challenger at 160 pounds, made him quit on his stool after round 6. Gogue, with all the work with Eric Morales, all the criticism of his lack of defensive skills, did you see any improvement in the 24-year-old hopeful?
Joe, I've seen improvement from the first fight when he fought that
Spike O'Sullivan.
Yeah. I seen him boxing more on his toes, working at range with his jab, head movement, feints, and putting his combinations together. Before Eric Morales got involved or whoever was training him, all he used to do is just come forward, throw punches, and get punched back twice as much. Yep. But he had skill and technique when he fought Spike O'Sullivan, working effectively behind his jab, double jab, the feints, the combinations. He still had his aggressive style, Joe, of putting his punches together, but he was boxing more intelligently doing it. The second fight with Turiano Johnson got on his shit, and he couldn't keep that range and distance, so he had to battle it out. Okay, before I think he stopped him, didn't he, Joe? I think he stopped
great performance. Oh, that was disgusting, man. That huge, that lip. He split Turiano Johnson's lip, and it was hideous.
Yeah.
And the referee in charge called a halt to the bout right after that, shortly after a couple rounds. But I thought that was his best performance to date, to be honest with you. Because Turiano Johnson's a tough guy.
Well, this fight, man, that guy was Joe. He just showed up to get a payday.
2 weeks notice.
He was a punching bag in there. He just kept his hands high, and didn't, what's his name? Just did what he had to do to win.
Yeah, absolutely. So after the fight, they asked Jaime Munguia who he wanted next. And he said any of the current champions at 160 pounds or Gabe Rosado, who had a sensational knockout on the day, and we'll get into that in a second. But do you like the pace that Roberto Diaz and Eric Gomez are keeping him at age 24, or would you like to see him tangle with the best at 160 at this time? Is the kid ready?
Nah, he's not ready yet. Nah, I think season him some more. Let him get more experience. He's only 24. Okay. Yep. Like I said, maybe next year. Me, honestly, him and Triple G would be a great fight on Cinco de Mayo Day. Well, that's Canelo's day. Nobody's gonna take that day for Canelo. But around that time, maybe a week after or whatever. I think him and Triple G would be a great fight. But give him some more fights, give him some more seasoning and everything. Okay. Yeah,
when you think about it, and I think this is Roberto Diaz's strategy here, because Gennady Golovkin, he's getting old, right? And I know they want the big fights for him, but this is still a popular kid, and because of his fight style, he's going to become a big ticket seller. When you look at Gennady Golovkin, he's getting old, he's on his way out. And you look at Andrade and Jermall Charlo. I don't know how much longer their bodies are going to be able to make 160 pounds. And it looks like most of their competition is at 60 or 68 rather. I think if he plays his cards right, and I think this is what Roberto Diaz is thinking, that in 2022, he'll be able to fight for the vacated major world title, whatever it is, WBC, WBO, or IBF, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they're just being patient, Joe. They're just finding the right time for him to make the big move. Yeah, I learned that from Don Chargan. Okay, I remember when he had. I've talked to you about this before, and I told fans on the show before, on other shows, that when he was building up, a big time ticket seller in Sacramento back in the days in the 80s, 3-time world champion Tony Lopez. He took his time and didn't put him in big fights unless he was ready. Now, a year before he won the title, Dan Duva, the promoter of Rocky Lockridge, called him and offered Don to fight. And Don said, nope, turned it down. He didn't think his guy was ready. A year later, Don called Dan Duva. He goes, hey, we'll take the fight if you're interested. He knew he was ready, Don told me. He goes, he knew, that extra year benefited Tony. It seasoned him more. So when it was time to make that move, Don knew Tony was ready to win the title and everything. And he won it. He was a 4-1 underdog, got dropped, got up, from a vicious knockdown, survived the round, then, gained his composure and poise and, and boxed beautifully to win the, I think the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th round. He boxed beautifully the last 4 rounds, to win the belt and everything. But like I said, it's all timing, Joe. When the fighter's ready, you got to know when to pull the trigger. And it comes with experience. Don Chargan's been around this shit a long time. He knows when to pull the trigger when his guy's ready for a big fight. It's all about timing, man, matchmaking, and got to know the fighter too, Joe. You don't think he's ready, especially a young kid like him. Hey, what's wrong with waiting another year? Waiting another year in boxing, boy, that's a long time. You could get a lot better. You could become more mature. Your skills could get better. Your boxing IQ could get better. Your confidence level will get better. Okay, Joe? All this stuff comes into play, if you wait a year and be patient instead of taking the dumb fight, a stupid fight like an Andre fight right now. Man, what do you want to fight that guy for? You know what I mean? He's got a stinky style, and
he's a spoiler.
He ain't gonna look good, and he'll probably lose. So it's all timing, Joe. You got to know when to pull the trigger. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And Golden Boy, well, they're the architects who pulled the trigger on moving Canelo up to 160 at a strategic period. You remember they kept him at that absurd catch weight of 155 pounds for an entire year before they decided to move him up to 160 pounds to fight Gennady Golovkin. Yeah. So guys, look for more of the same for Jaime Munguia moving forward, guys. Don't expect him to fight for a major world title at 160 pounds until 2022. Guys, but like I mentioned, on the undercard, oh boy. Oh, jeez. Gabe Rosado lands a perfectly timed looping right hand to the chin of Beck the Bully, and he stops him in the third round. Gogue, did you see this one coming?
No, I didn't. That Beck the Bully's been dominating everybody. He's been steamrolling everybody.
Yep.
Okay. And he got steamrolled. Like Joe, what happened was Beck, he gets a little too comfortable and keeps his hands low when he attacks you. So one of his best punches is that sweep, not only that left uppercut to the body where you can hurt you, but that sweeping left hook he loves to throw. Yep. So when he had Gabriel Rosado in the corner, he tried to land, he tried to load up on that sweeping left hook, and it was wide. Mm-hmm. Gabe seen that and just snuck a short right hand in when he was coming in. That's what knocked him out, Joe. The punch, combination of the punch and the Beck Bully running into the punch, okay? He beat him to the punch. Both guys were throwing at the same time, but Gabe's punch was a lot shorter and to the point. And him walking into the punch caused the knockout. Yeah, he was out, man. Yeah, he was out.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of Vic Darchinyan landing on his face after catching that sharp, compact left hook from Nonito Donaire.
Yeah, he ran
when they were super flyweights.
Yeah, he ran into that punch too. Vic Darchinyan, he ran into that left hook. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so, from this moving forward, and you looked at, Oscar De La Hoya's reaction from ringside. He got up and he was celebrating. And I know Golden Boy didn't want that to happen, but, boy, a sensational knockout like that, boy, it attracts a lot of, it attracts a lot of viewers, attracts a lot of fans. So how do you like that matchup? I know Gabe Rosado's been campaigning at 68 right now, but how do you like him calling out Jaime Munguia? Do you think Golden Boy makes that fight? And what do you think of the matchup, Jaime Munguia versus a veteran, crafty counterpuncher like Gabe Rosado?
Rosado is a seasoned veteran, okay? Munguia is going to bring nothing to the table he's never saw before, okay? He knows how to fight. He reminds me, he's got 13 losses or something like that?
Yeah.
How many wins does he have? 28?
Gabe Rosado?
Yeah, 30.
26, 13, and 1 now.
You know what, man? Freddie Pendleton, the former IBF lightweight champion of the world, lost 17 fights before he made a run for the title, okay? 17 fights he lost. But the thing is, look at all those losses. Look at everybody he lost to. Oh my God, he lost to some very good fighters coming up.
Who in boxing? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it made him a better fighter. It
Just
made
like
him
Orlando Salido at featherweight.
Yeah. But the thing is, Pendleton, it made him a seasoned fighter, a very hard-nosed seasoned fighter. Where when he fought a tough guy, ain't no big deal, ain't nothing he hasn't seen before. Okay, it's the same with Rosado. Rosado fought everybody. He's lost to a lot of good fighters, but he's learned in every fight. It's seasoned him, made him tougher, made him more experienced, more smarter. Okay, so Munguia ain't gonna bring shit to the table that Gabriel Rosado hasn't seen before. It'll be a great fight. It'll be a good fight, good action fight. Yeah.
So if you're Golden Boy Promotions, if you're Roberto Diaz and Eric Gomez, do you pull the trigger on it next?
That makes sense.
Because right now it's a hot matchup.
He's coming off a great knockout, man. Yeah, it made Sports Center. Okay, so that's a fight I would do. You know what I mean?
That says it all. Well, I tell you what, congratulations to both Jaime Munguia and Gabe Rosado. They move forward with their respective careers, possibly meeting sometime later this year. We'll see if Gabe Rosado is willing to melt down and make 160 once again. But also Rosado, boy, he came up the hard way in Philly under Hall of Fame promoter Russell Peltz.
Yeah.
How does that actually prepare you for this level, Gogue, when being matched up? Well, where you've got to earn your keep.
Look, Joe, hard fights season you, okay? They make you tougher. They make you a better fighter, okay? If you don't go through the fire coming up, man, when it's time, when that test comes, what's the probabilities of you passing the big test when it comes? That's why I believe in hard fights, tough fights coming up when you're going through the ranks, okay? Because they season you, they nurture you, okay? And you can't get that experience, Joe, sparring, okay, or hitting the hand pads or the heavy bag. Only way you could get that type of experience is in, live fights. I had a guy like that before, Carson Jones. He was a perennial. He was 16. Remember. He was 16-7 when I got him. Yeah, but we got a. All those fights made him a better fighter. He just needed. When I got him, he was a young kid. He just needed confidence. Okay, he just needed structure in his life.
He had the mentality of an opponent when you got him.
Yeah, he had I had to change all that. I had to teach him how to be a world-class pro, and it started by developing his work habits in the gym, how to train like a world-class pro. You can't say you're going to be a world-class professional fighter if you don't have world-class professional work habits in the gym. That's what I had to do. I started there. Then his managers got us a bunch of easy wins just to get, the momentum started, getting in the flow, getting his confidence built up. Then, he pulled that upset on Tyrone Brunson.
Yeah, that's right. The guy with the KO streak.
Yeah, he pulled that upset on Brunson on Showtime, and then that propelled him into bigger fights and everything. But you know what I mean? Those fights that Carson lost to against all those tough guys he was thrown in, it seasoned him. It developed that toughness. When I got him, he just needed structure. Okay, like I said, he just needed to learn how to train like a world-class professional. Once he learned how to train like a world-class professional, his confidence grew. He became more sure of himself. That's when he took off.
Indeed. Well, let's hope. Once again, Peter joins us. Thank you for joining us, man, this evening. Thank you for staying up. And he states Munguia, all in versus Rosado. It's a great matchup. The effective aggressive versus the, crafty counterpuncher. May the best man win. Let's hope Golden Boy puts it together later this year. Let's hope Gabe can make 160 again. But, let's move forward. Let's go to Houston, Texas, home of the Rockets, at the Toyota Center in your main event of the evening. Jermall Charlo was successful in defending his WBC middleweight title, getting a UD12 against the, unlikely but very game Juan Montiel. Gogue, Jermall is receiving, and his trainer is receiving, a lot of criticism post-fight. Is it warranted? Is it merited?
Look, you can't look good all your fights, okay? But the thing is, like Shakur Stevenson last week, he didn't put on his best performance. But damn, at least Jermall Charlo tried, okay? He did his best. He made the fight. He was aggressive. He was, he was trying to go for the knockout at times. Did he perform at his best? Not the best Jermall Charlo I've seen, okay? To me, Joe, I don't know, man. He was throwing every punch hard, man, and that took a lot of steam out of him. Okay, when you throw every punch hard and you can't knock out your opponent, you're going down the stretch. Your gas tank is low. Okay, throwing them hard power punches takes a lot out of you, a lot out of your fuel tank. So he was real tense and tight and not the normal. I don't know. I'll have to watch the fight again, but he wasn't the Jermall Charlo I saw in the Derevchenko fight, okay?
No.
But like I said, hey, you can't look good all the time, man, but you win. You got to win, though.
Absolutely. And you know what? Say what you want about Montiel and his ultimately losing strategy. but it was effective in spots where he did the rope-a-dope, hiding behind the peekaboo defense, being defensive, and, well, trying to catch his man once he got fatigued in the back third of the fight. It almost worked, Gogue. At the end of the fight, boy, you saw Jermall Charlo uncharacteristically having the bumps and bruises of a real dogfight. And you're right, he seemed a lot more tense than he usually does. Do you think this is a product of fighting in his hometown? He's not used to competing in Houston. And several fighters I've spoken to over the years, well, they profess that they can't stand fighting in their hometown because of all the distractions when they're training, during fight week, all of their friends and family watching, hitting them up for free tickets. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's what happened here?
Well, me, honestly, Joe, that could be that's a big time distraction fighting your hometown. Everybody's calling you up, hitting you up for this or that tickets and everything. But that's why you gotta be, that's why you have people that, that work with you that handle all that shit. You don't, when you go into camp, you get ready for fight. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing are distractions and everything. So you got to keep that to the minimum and everything. Him, and another thing, Jermall trains at his house.
That's right.
Wants to be around the family, the kids, and everything. That's that's a comfortable lifestyle. Okay,
it is.
So you know what I mean. And there's distractions. Okay, and when you got distractions, you start losing your focus. So, after fighting Derevchenko, honestly, Joe, they didn't, they knew this opponent wasn't tough as Derevchenko. So maybe there was a little letdown in the preparation. You know what I mean?
And that happens. But you know what?
Happens.
Credit to Jermall Charlo for sucking it up and making it to the finish line and earning a wide, unanimous decision victory. Gogue, tell you what, it was really bothering me was Montiel's technique. He looked very gangly, didn't know whether or not he wanted to be an orthodox or a southpaw fighter. His balance was terrible. And I think that's one of the primary reasons why Jermall is getting, and Ronnie Shields are getting the criticism that they're receiving right now, is because the way fans look at this, and a gangly guy, very unorthodox, well, the way they see it, this guy's not on your level. If you want to be a superstar, you're expected to get this guy out of there.
True.
But in the fight game, it doesn't always play out that way, does it?
Nope. You don't know what's going to happen on the night of the fight, okay? But bottom line is, like I said, he wasn't at his best. He won in front of his hometown. I heard there were 10,000 fans there.
That's a good crowd. That's a good crowd.
Oh, yeah. So it's good. He's building that momentum in Houston. So if I was him, I'd go back. You know what I mean? I'd go back over there and fight because he could draw over there. He can't draw in Dallas. He can't draw in Vegas or wherever or New York, but he could draw in Houston. That's his hometown. So you go where the people are going to support you. And me, I'd go back to, I don't know what his plan, who his next fight is going to be against, but hell, bring it back to Houston. You know what I mean? He got 10,000 people there. That's not hard. I mean, that's not easy to do, to get a guy that'll put 10,000 asses in the seats. So, but he's got momentum, Joe. Okay, all the media, the local media was covering the fight. I heard, 10,000 people at the arena. All the, the big time athletes, the rocket players were there. The football players were there, and all the other professional athletes Houston was at the fights and everything. So yeah, he got a lot. That's good. It was good. I'm glad for Jermall. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. And I'd go back to Houston again, man, if you can. Yeah.
Indeed. So congratulations to Jermall Charlo for getting the big victory. And let's put this one behind him. Now let's see where he goes from there. But yeah, it's about time PBC starts marketing this guy. He's a twin champion, right? Brothers who are twins, champions simultaneously in two different weight divisions. Guys, this is an easy sell for the fourth largest market in America, Houston, Texas. Okay, before we move on and talk about some of the fights on the undercard, got to give a shout out to my brother Antonio. Thank you so much for tuning in from Cali. Happy Father's Day, my good friends. Happy Father's Day to you, my brother. And also from Peter, joining us from Tijuana, Baja California. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you too, my friend. God bless you. Thank you so much for staying up with us. But then again, it's only, 9:30 your time over there? In California. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. In the co-main event of the evening, Coach, it was Angelo Leo coming off of a loss in which he lost his title to Stephen Fulton. And he comes back against a very tough outing in Aaron Alameda in a great co-main event for 10 rounds in which Angelo Leo gets the, unpopular to the crowd at Toyota Center, the unpopular majority decision in 10 rounds. Coach, the scorecards were 95-95, in which Jesse Reyes saw the fight a draw, but it was overruled by Randy Russell and Eva Saragosa. 96-94 and 98-92. What fight was she watching? But for your winner, Angelo Leo, how important was this fight for Angelo Leo moving forward, Coach?
Oh, if he would have lost this fight, it would have been a big-time setback. Joe, you want to get back and put yourself in position to fight for a title? You're supposed to beat a guy like that, Alameda. Tough fight, but that guy did not put his combinations together, okay? He was only throwing 1-2 punches at a time, okay? Leo was out punching him, okay? All right. He was under what I was seeing and what the judges were seeing, he was outworking him, out punching him, outworking him. Well, when he had to. The other guy, he was just throwing 1-2 punches at a time. You're not going to win fights like that if the other guy's putting his combinations together consistently and you're just, throwing 1 or 2 back or 3. You know what I mean? That's not going to win these big fights and everything. And my perception was the other guy was more hungry, Leo, and he was, like I said, he outpunched him. They weren't hard punches, but he was keeping his hands busy. In the judge's eyes, that meaning he was being the more effective aggressor. Yeah.
Indeed. So congratulations to Angelo Leo for getting back off the snide and getting in the victory column. We'll see where he goes from there in a very crowded division, Gogue. Oh, boy. 122. One of the most exciting divisions in boxing right now. But I tell you what, we've got another question from Peter. He says, Coach, where are you from? You seem to know a lot about fighters from California. Gogue, please give us your biography, sir.
Oh, God, Peter. I started coaching in '88 in Sacramento. Oh, yeah. So I know a lot about California. Oh, that was my backyard, you know what I mean? And then a few times we fought in TJ, where you're from, Tijuana, because that's let me tell you about Tijuana, Joe. Mexico, the country of Mexico is right now boxing's hot because of Canelo. You know what I mean? He's got everybody excited. But there's a lot of club shows going on everywhere. Mexico City, they have them once a week, maybe twice a week. Guadalajara had one last night. They're gonna have another one next week. Over here in Aguas Caliente, they have Aguas Caliente, the Leon, Mexico, Guanajuato area. They have it once a month. Monterrey, Reynosa, total, everywhere. Sonora, Cancun, everywhere in Mexico, there's fights, club shows. But the capital of boxing in Mexico is Tijuana, baby. They do 2 to 3 club shows a week, Joe.
Wow.
From what my partner was telling me, they do 300 individual fights a month. 300.
That's crazy.
2 or 3 club shows a month. Mexico is the best minor league system for developing fighters, okay? Mm-hmm. From 135 pounds, 140 down, okay? Because why? Because they got the numbers. They got a lot of fighters in that weight class, a lot of tough guys that you can fight to give you that seasoning you need. before you go to the States. Okay, that's what I like about it. So I know a lot about. Like I said, I started coaching in '88 in California. I know a lot about from Northern Cal all the way to Southern Cal. Then I moved to Texas. I know a lot about that area. But I've been all over the States, man. Peter, I've been all over the States. I fought in everywhere. Okay, everywhere in the States, and I had a lot of fighters. But my roots are in Sacramento. Yeah, I learned the business from Hall of Fame promoter Don Chargan. Yeah.
Indeed, and we're all the better for it. Thank you so much for your question, Peter, and thank you, Gogue, for always enlightening us every single week. Very quickly, because we're running short on time. In the opening bout of the Showtime broadcast, we saw the return of lightweight hopeful Isaac Cruz.
Yeah,
getting a unanimous decision in 10 rounds against the grizzled veteran Francisco Vargas. And boy, that was a horrific gash over his right eye, reminiscent of Vitaly Klitschko versus Lennox Lewis. But he continued to fight just like the warrior that he is. And we got a compelling, often, rough battle of attrition for 10 rounds. Gogue, did you like what you saw from Isaac Cruz? Or did you see a lot of holes, things that he needs to work on?
He's a one-dimensional fighter, but he's good. He's a very tough, durable, one-dimensional fighter, and he's a puncher. He's an explosive puncher, Joe, with that left hook, the overhand rights, the body shots. Man, he's got the right name, Joe. Pit Bull. He's an aggressive, physically aggressive, minded fighter. Yeah, but he's one dimension, Joe. You only have one dimension to your game as you go up the ladder. Eventually, you're going to get exposed and everything.
Yeah. So, when do you think he's possibly going to be ready for title contention among the badasses at 35?
Sean Gibbons is his USA agent. Sean is a veteran.
Smart. Very smart.
Sean's been around. I known Sean, I don't know, since the 90s, early 90s. I met Sean. Sharp. He's a boxing man. He's a sharp boxing man. And, he's what do you call it? He's probably the boxing's biggest politician right now, Sean. He knows everybody. He knows everybody in the IBF, the WBO, the WBC, the WBA. He knows all the ratings, members. He knows every official in all sanctioning bodies. He knows all big time TV executives in every network. I mean, this guy's well connected, internationally and over here, the Mexico U.S. area. He like I said, he's president of Manny Pacquiao Promotions. Yeah, and like I said, he makes a lot of fighters. They got managers. They can't, they ain't got no juice, or they don't know what the hell they're doing. So they bring Sean aboard. That's what happened with this Isaac Cruz. Mm-hmm. Okay. He had another manager, and they brought Sean aboard, and now Sean's taking over his career. And Sean ain't just gonna put you in a fight if it don't make sense. Every move he makes, like Don Chargan, it's gonna lead to a bigger fight. So when he's ready to pull the trigger, Sean, because of his connections with all the ratings, all the sanctioning bodies, he'll get his guy number one in one of them.
Yep, indeed. So congratulations to Isaac Cruz. Yeah. We look forward to seeing him down the line. See, where his career takes him. And that leads into our next fight, talking about Sean Gibbons, because we saw Sean Gibbons get Michael Dasmarinas ranked number 1 in the IBF to face the monster Naoya Inoue on ESPN. Gogue, you know what? Michael Dasmarinas looks almost like a poor man's version of Manny Pacquiao, the way he fights. But on this day, Naoya Inoue would not be denied. Spanking Michael Dasmarinas to the body in brutal fashion, getting him out of there in the 3rd round. Gogue, I'm going to ask you this. Is Naoya Inoue the best fighter in boxing right now?
Joe, I wouldn't argue. Joe, this guy could beat any style out there. Okay, this guy that guy he destroyed yesterday, if you watched him, to me, he looked like a southpaw, a slick boxing counter-punching southpaw that moves a lot. Mm-hmm. Them are the hardest styles to fight, man, let me tell you. Mm-hmm. But Inoue, because of his ferocious punching power and his ability to, adapt his style to defeat any style he faces, he made quick, easy work of that guy. Okay, that guy anybody else out there, this guy would have gave any of them guys problems because, like I said, he's southpaw. He moves, look like a good boxer, counter puncher, and them are the hardest guys to fight, especially if they're southpaw. And this Inoue, because he has frightening punching power, a devastating body puncher, he can adapt to any style. He'll beat any style out there. Okay, whether you're right-handed, left-handed, a slugger, a brawler, a mover, or whatever, a counter puncher. Anyway, he's a complete fighter. And Joe, he's beat every badass out there in his weight class, in 3 weight classes in their prime.
Yep.
He didn't wait for these motherfuckers to get old.
Yep.
All right. He beat all these guys: Emmanuel Rodriguez, Jamie McDonald's, that Juan Payano, that southpaw.
Yep. Juan Carlos Payano. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he destroyed all of them, man. Walked through that.
Yep.
Then he showed me
Nonito Donaire.
Nah, he didn't beat him up. He was in a war. He got his eye socket broke. He didn't beat Nonito. No. Yeah, he was in a war. He really had to dig down in that fight because he was, you know what I mean? That eye socket was broke, but you think that was going to deter him? He's got a strong will to win, mentally tough, mentally resilient. Okay, he got hit by some big bombs by Donaire in that fight, but he showed me that fight, Joe. I always knew he was a talent, but after that fight, now I knew he was a fighter. Okay, a fighter has the ability to be mentally tough, has a high degree of mental resilience, mental intestinal fortitude. No matter how tough the fight goes, they're going to have that willpower, that will to win, like Customato used to say. Okay, when you're in a tough fight, Customato, the guy that trained Mike Tyson, used to say, the will to win is greater than the skill to win. Oh, man. I remember that. He told Mike that in the 80s. I remember that. I'll never forget that. So true. Inoue, he's got a strong will to win. He's beaten everybody in their prime, not handpicking these guys and when they get old, or avoiding guys for 2 years or whatever, okay? Nah, this guy, he's going right off the bat. Yeah, I want to fight you. You know what I mean? Then he destroys them. You know what I mean? And he's impressive. To me, Joe, it'd be hard to argue that this guy is not the best fighter in the world, pound for pound, right now. Over Canelo, over Spence, Crawford. Okay, just the way he's looking, Joe. He ain't beating bums. He's destroying good fighters. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, and I mentioned Nonito Donaire because it's just reported a couple days ago that John Casimiro was scheduled to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux on August 14th. And it was supposed to headline, but it'd be the main event on a Showtime triple header. Now that fight has been scrapped. Guillermo Rigondeaux wasn't hurt. He wasn't injured. The promoter and the management team just felt that it was best to replace Guillermo Rigondeaux with Nonito Donaire in a unification bout now for the WBO WBC Bantamweight Championship. Winner hopefully facing Naoya Inoue, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Coach, who do you like in this matchup? Because both fighters are excellent Filipino fighters. John Casimiro versus Nonito Donaire. Who do you like and why?
Whoever hits. Nah, they're both tough, mentally tough too. If they both get hurt in the fight, they got that heart and will, to come back and battle. Oh, it's gonna be a hell of a fight, Joe. I got to study it more. I haven't studied it, but you know what Nonito brings to the table.
Yep.
Okay, he's gonna have height and range and distance on this guy, so he's he could be a good rangy counter puncher with that left hook on this guy. Okay, Nonito added another devastating weapon to his arsenal, and that's that left uppercut now. And not only can he throw that left hook, he could throw that left uppercut. That right hand also. Now, if Nonito, this guy's shorter.
Yep.
You don't want to go straight at this guy because this guy is a good instinctive fighter, Joe. He just has good instinct in the ring, and he can punch. So I think if Nonito works on his jab for this fight, he'll make this fight easier. Okay, by keeping this guy at range, okay, that jab can frustrate that Casamayor and set up all Nonito's big punches. That straight right hand, the left uppercut, or that vaunted left hook of his. Okay, ooh. But it's the jab. I think Nonito, if he gets that jab established on this shorter guy, I think he'll make the fight easier. But if he tries to slug it out with this guy, this guy's a vicious puncher. He's very instinctive, Joe. He's a natural fighter. He's got a good flow, good instincts. When he goes in the ring, everything just flows naturally. He knows what to do, no matter who trains him. Okay, I could get 2 drunks at a Golden Glove tournament to train this guy, and he'll still be good. Some fighters are like that. They're just natural fighters, and that's what this Casamayor is. Casamayor, whatever his name. He's a natural fighter. Casemiro. He's a natural fighter. Okay, he knows what he got to do in that ring. Okay, but like I said, if Nonito controls him with that jab and it sets the tone of the fight, I think Nonito could pull it off. But if he doesn't, hey, the playing field evens. Okay. And you let this guy back in the ball game. Yeah. It's going to be an explosive fight. Yeah. Where's the fight going to be at, Joe?
Don't know yet. We'll find out the closer it gets to the fight. But very interesting. It's going to be on the same date now as the targeted, new date for Lopez versus Kambosos Jr. And this is going to be on free subscriber Showtime.
Yeah, hell. I want to get it on. I want to watch it free, not pay-per-view. Shit, I'm watching this fight. Yeah. Yeah,
this is a great, one of the year's best matchups, potential fight of the year candidate right here, Gogue.
Yeah,
you can't miss this one for and once again, a unification bout in the bantamweight division. WBO and WBC on the line. So we look forward to that. And let's briefly talk about, a lot of people seem to be under the impression, and to open up the ESPN broadcast, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that Isaac Dogboe was somewhat of a past his prime fighter, a kind of a shot fighter on the back nine, but he proved that he still had some juice left in those legs, and he gets a majority decision in 10 rounds against the always tough Adam Lopez. Gogue, who did you think really won this fight? Did you agree with the judges at ringside? Or did you think Adam Lopez did enough to pull it off at the back third of the fight?
He won the fight was even going after the 8th round. He won the 9th and 10th. He outpunched him. He was hungrier. He had a stronger will to win, like I said, Customato used to say. He kept busy. He kept his hands busy. He threw a lot more punches than Dogboe in the 9th and 10th round. Okay, he showed that effective aggression you need to win a round. Okay, I thought Adam Lopez won the fight. Okay, man, that's bullshit. Like I said on Twitter last night, he got an early Christmas present. Dogboe.
Well, I tell you what. Nonetheless, congratulations to both gentlemen. They really made a very, very impressive account of themselves. I don't think Adam Lopez loses very much by dropping a majority decision, but Isaac Dogboe picks up the NABF featherweight title as a result of this victory. We'll see what happens.
Good fight.
It was an excellent fight, and it really started everything off brilliantly for ESPN and Top Rank. Coach, let's look at Top Rank next week. We've got, in the main event of the evening, the return of Vasyl Lomachenko versus Masayoshi Nakatani. A
Yeah.
lot of people, when this fight was announced, a lot of people were surprised that Vasyl Lomachenko was jumping right back into the lion's den. Obviously, Masayoshi Nakatani coming off of a brilliant effort against, well, now convict Felix Verdejo, in which he, well, suffered a broken orbital bone, but fought through it and ended up stopping Felix Verdejo. Gogue, do you like this fight for Vasyl Lomachenko?
Whew, tall, rangy Japanese guy that fights. Okay.
Mhm.
He gave Lopez a tough fight. Okay. Lopez had a hard time. First fight I seen Lopez in his professional career had to taste some adversity. Okay. He got hit with right hands more than normal. And this guy wasn't laying down. When Lopez hit him with some good shots, this Japanese guy was firing back. Tough fight for Vasyl. Oh, yeah. Tough fight.
Well, you got to respect him for it because Masayoshi Nakatani, his only professional loss is dropping a decision to Teofimo Lopez. That's not too bad. Do you think, though, Vasyl Lomachenko, with his ability to get inside and work effectively underneath, do you think this is a better matchup for him than it was for Teofimo Lopez?
Yeah. Teofimo's more like Shakur Stevenson, likes to stay outside, box you, counterpunch you. But when it comes to pressing the action, he didn't have the skill sets to fight a tall, rangy guy like that. When you're fighting a tall, rangy guy, okay, and he's trying to be defensive and he's hard to get to because of his height, well, what you got to do? You got to close that distance. You got to change your style. You can't be a counterpuncher, effective counterpuncher. You got to be a more physical, aggressive mindset. Press the action, close the distance, but you do it intelligently without getting hit, okay? That's a skill set, Joe. Lomachenko got that skill set. He has the ability to apply intelligent pressure on you, meaning close the distance with his footwork, head and upper body movement, and put them jabs in your face with feints. Okay, that's intelligent. That's how you apply intelligent pressure on an opponent. Okay, when you got to get to him. Okay, if you just walk straight in with no jabbing in your opponent's face, no head movement or no feints, you're gonna get caught coming in. Like Beck Bully last night, perfect example.
Boy.
He just walked straight into that punch. Now, if he would have put some jabs in Rosado's face, feigning him, used a little bit of head movement to confuse him, Rosado wouldn't have timed him perfectly with that right hand. He just walked straight in, no respect. Boom, got caught right on the chin. Okay, but Lomachenko's got the skill sets to, apply intelligent pressures. Okay, yeah, but it's gonna be. But that Japanese guy's tough, man. He's tough. Yeah. Yep.
Always in great shape, great chin, knows how to fight adversity. Yep.
And he fights. Yep. He's a fighter. Yeah.
Guys, that's going to be your main event this coming up Saturday from the Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas on ESPN. Once again, thank you, Top Rank. It's going to be on free ESPN TV. Thank you, Top Rank. Guys, one that isn't going to be free, and it's going to be offered for the bargain basement price of $69.99.
Oh, shit.
Showtime pay-per-view is going to be featuring Gervonta Davis at the State Farm Arena in Hotlanta, Georgia. Going to be taking on the, WBA paper champion, Mario Barrios, two undefeated fighters. Gogue, I don't know about you, brother. I like the matchup, but not for $69.99. Are you going to get excited for this fight the closer it gets to Saturday?
Not for $69.95. I think pay-per-view fights, they show it on Mexico for free. I think on ESPN Knockouts. Yeah, hopefully they do. They've been doing it. They've always been doing it. For the guy Barbosa, I forgot his first name. The guy that runs ESPN Knockouts. Mm-hmm. He usually puts the big pay-per-view fights on ESPN Knockouts here free. So, it ain't no money coming out of my pocket, and I love the fight. I love the matchup. Intriguing matchup. Tank's, Tank's facing a big boy, long rangey, strong, can punch a little. Okay.
Yep.
Remember I told you, Joe, when you're short like Tank, and you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta close the distance on a tall, rangy guy like that. And if you don't know how to do it intelligently, you're gonna be taking some shots. Yeah. Yeah. So Tank ain't gonna box. Tank ain't gonna stay at range and box this guy. He'll get his ears boxed off. Everybody knows Tank's got to get it close in the pocket to throw those big bombs, them uppercuts, them body shots, them hooks, them overhand lefts. You know what I mean? Tank's a vicious puncher. Okay. And he's got to close it. He's got to get into that range, which is, close quarters. And how do you get into that range, Joe? You got to know how to do it intelligently. Okay. All right. It's called intelligent pressure, not stupid, dumb pressure. Fighters that apply dumb, stupid pressure get hit a lot. Yori Boy Canvas, Jaime Munguia, perfect example. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. You look at the odds for this fight. On most races, sports books, and the one that we always like to consult and usually like to reference is BetMGM out of Vegas. And they have Gervonta Davis in his first fight at 140 pounds listed as the overwhelming odds favorite at a minus 400.
Oh.
With Mario Vargas listed as the live betting underdog at plus 275. Gogue, when you look at this, this one may be a hard one to avoid if you're betting on fights this weekend. You know what? I would actually bet a Gervonta Davis knockout straddled with a Mario Vargas decision victory. Do you like those odds, or are they a little too wide for your liking?
Maybe 3-1, Joe. 4. Maybe the money's going on Gervonta. That's why the odds are that high. We'll see. Closer to the fight, the money might turn. The tide might change, and the money will start going on Barrios, so the odds will start going down. But it's a tough fight.
It is a very tough fight.
Tall, rangy guy that could punch a little bit, man. Yeah.
Well, I think, and one of the reasons why I think Mayweather Promotions chose this opponent, right? If you go back and look back in September of 2019, Mario Vargas, he faced a very tough counterpuncher in Batir Akhmedov, in which Akhmedov was able to close the distance effectively and land that right hook straight left hand with ease in the back half of the fight. Yeah. And I think Vargas was lucky to get a unanimous decision. Do you think that's ultimately why they chose this opponent for Gervonta Davis? Yeah.
They're looking at that guy, what's that guy's name, Joe? What's his name?
Batir Akhmedov.
Yeah, they're thinking, man, Tank's better than that guy. So if he had a hard time with that guy, and Tank's, they're feeling, hey, Tank's a lot better than that guy, then they don't think they'll have a problem beating Barrios, okay? I saw the same thing, Joe. I'm thinking, golly, you know what I mean? They probably looked at that fight and they probably said, man, yeah, my guy Tank could give him everything. Joe, they're protecting this guy. They want this guy to be a pay-per-view star. They know what they're doing over there. I mean, they're good boxing people. Floyd's a good boxing, he's a good boxing mind.
Yep. Indeed. Well, speaking with Virgil Hunter last week, he said it's a blessing in disguise that we went through that 2 years ago because we've already remedied all of those issues, and you're not going to see Mario Vargas have that same problem against a smaller man like Tank Davis. Do you see an upset happening this Saturday night, Gogue?
Anything can happen, Joe, but I doubt it. Mayweather, like I said, they're not going to risk their guy. They want him to be the next big pay-per-view star. Hey, look, man, Tank's a draw now, okay? All right, he's a legit. There'll probably be 14, 15,000 people there.
Yep,
he's a legit draw. Yeah, he's a legit draw. As much as I talk shit about him, calling him fat boy and this and that, he's still a draw. And if there's not too many of them boxing. There's not too many of them guys in boxing that could do that. So I give him credit for that. And Leonard and Floyd Mayweather Promotions. That's not easy to build a draw. A guy that could put 15,000 asses in the seats in boxing, but he's a draw, and he's an exciting fighter. My only beef with Tank, man, I always called him Fat Boy, is because it was his lack of being a professional between fights, not taking care of business, letting his weight go too high, the distractions outside the gym. When you're a professional, Joe, you get all that shit under control. All the distractions, taking care of your body between fights, keeping your weight down, staying in the gym. You're being dedicated to your craft 24/7, like Bernard Hopkins. Okay.
Indeed.
All right. And that was my biggest complaint about Tank. It was his lack of professionalism. And Floyd, Leonard, they know it. They wouldn't argue with me about that, man. They wouldn't argue, But the thing is, the kid is a draw. He's a ticket seller.
He is. He is, absolutely. And that's the primary reason, according to Leonard Ellerby, that's a primary reason why they moved his camp from Baltimore to Las Vegas, Nevada. And he looked to be in great shape in his first fight outside of that camp against Leo Santa Cruz. And they're expecting more of the same. So we look for the best version of both men this Saturday on Showtime pay-per-view.
Want to hear this, Joe?
Let's hear it, sir.
Boza Edwards, he was one of Floyd's right-hand man. He runs Mayweather's gym.
Yep.
Boza Edwards, the former 130-pound champion. Cornelius Boza Edwards, good friend.
Cornelius Edwards, yep.
Good friend of mine, yeah. Back in the days, he was, what a hell of a fighter he was. A former WBC junior lightweight champ of the world. He was telling me, he was in camp, giving him his advice, giving him his encouragement. He told me Tank he's looking great right now. He said he's tough. He said he's looking tremendous. Boza was telling me this. So,
well, and also touch on this. Most people who aren't familiar with Tank Davis coming up as an amateur, talk about Tank's experience and his deep amateur pedigree and how it's served him well up to this point. Can you elaborate on that, Coach?
Oh, he has he was a top rated amateur. He has over, over 100 fights, 150 fights. Shit. When you got that many fights and you fought the best at the highest level in the amateurs, come on, man. It's only gonna, when you go pro, you're ahead of the game, man. And he's a naturally, he's, over the course of his career, he's improved a lot. Okay. Yep. He's a lot better fighter from his first fight to now. Oh yeah, he's developing his craft. He's adding more dimensions to his game every fight. Okay, Joe. I see it. That's what I see in everything. So,
yeah, a lot of critics, a lot of fans have criticized the money team for bringing him up very gradually, not sticking him up with the best competition at any one division. But what would you say about their progression of Tank Davis up to this point? Would you commend it? Give him a thumbs up or thumbs down, Coach?
Puts 15,000 asses in the seats. He's he does deep. I don't know what his pay-per-view numbers were his last fight, but obviously they made money because they're doing it again. Now I heard the Charlos didn't do so good in their pay-per-view.
They were back on regular TV. Yep.
Joe, if you don't do good on your pay-per-view, they usually demote you back to regular TV. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But Tank, his numbers are going good, okay? Because he's on pay-per-view again, and he's packing the place 15,000. You think Tank could have did that by himself without Mayweather Promotions behind him, Leonard and Floyd? Hell no.
They've done a great job with him thus far.
Excellent job. I mean, I've criticized Mayweather Promotions. I'm just speaking my mind. I don't give a fuck. I've been in this shit long enough. I think that gives me the right to express my opinion. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Lou Duva didn't give a shit what he said. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. They've done an excellent job with Tank. You know, he's a star. He puts 15,000 asses in the seats. He's he's on pay-per-view again. The Charlos ain't. Okay. So yeah, Joe, guys like that, you know, they get, you know, guys that can put 15,000 asses in the seats that are explosive punches like Tank. You know, I want to tune in. I want to tune them. You know me, Joe. I don't watch a lot of these fucking fights nowadays. I'm very selective, but for Tank's fight, yeah. But $69.95, I'm a cheap ass. But I'll tune in because it's going to be free over here, I think, in Mexico on ESPN Knockouts. So,
well, for everyone else, it's going to be $69.99.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll see how it performs. We'll see how many, what kind of numbers they actually produce. But Craig Hutchinson joined us. Thank you for joining us, brother. He says, great analysts interview. Thank you, Coach Gogue. Thank you for joining us, Craig. Craig Hutchinson joins us. Says, thank you, Coach Gogue.
Oh,
great analyst interview.
Thank you. Appreciate all your fans, man. Like I said, when we before we took a little hiatus, we were the top. Well, we were the top radio show on Blog Talk Radio, weren't we, Joe? The top boxing show.
When it was on when it was on the old East Side Boxing 10 years ago, we
were ranked number 1. We were like the fucking Cosby. We were like the fucking Cosby show. You know what I mean? Every week, you know, we were going to be on the top. But we took some time off. Now we got to build our audience back. You know what I mean? So all you fans out there, you know what I mean? Tell a friend and let's get back and getting the numbers back up. It's gonna be slow, you know. Like I said, if you're off a while, like in boxing, if you don't fight a lot, you're not consistently. Fans forget about you. Oh, they forgot about us. So, but you know what I mean? The key is consistency, though. That's the key.
Yep. That's it. And, you know, blame it all on me because I took half a decade off to pursue music. So it's my fault. But now I'm back in boxing, and now we're going to be actually putting forth a consistent effort, bringing the show to the fans, bringing Gogue to everybody every single week. And
I like this setup too, Joe. I like this. What is it? StreamYard.com? I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, it's better than that Blog Talk Radio overpriced bullshit.com, man. Whatever that.
Well, Gogue, one thing before we let you go, Gogue, we forgot to go over the odds for Lomachenko versus Nakatani.
What are they?
And they might surprise you. Now, once again, we always like to consult BetMGM out of Las Vegas. And right now, they have Vasyl Lomachenko listed as a 12-1 betting favorite.
Holy shit.
Nakatani listed as a 7-1 betting underdog. Gogue, do you agree with those odds or no?
Joe, they play some odds for a reason, to make money, okay? All right, Joe. They're not going to make it 3-1 or 2-1, you know what I mean? There's a reason why they play some. Joe, they're in it to make money. You know, they got experts on knowing how to play some odds. It's very rare you beat the house, okay? All right?
Well, statistically, they are right between 75 and 80% of the time.
You don't exactly.
But they do get it wrong at times. And in this case, I don't know if they get it wrong, but I don't think it merits this matchup a 12-1 odds. That's shocking to me.
They got a high percentage win rate, meaning they make money. Okay, all right. So that's why that's why it's always hard to pull an upset in boxing, Joe. They're rare. Okay, I mean, come on, they're rare.
Well, yeah. So what's your official prediction on this one, Coach? Do you like Vasyl Lomachenko or do you like the very durable Masayoshi Nakatani?
Lomachenko, man, you know what he brings to the table. His ability to apply intelligent pressure, using his feints, using his jab, head movement, his footwork, moving in and out of range. Not only that, Joe, he's a southpaw. He can pivot around you. Okay, he's not going to stay in the direct line of fire. He's going to pivot around you to his right. Okay, he knows how. It's all about foot placement, Joe. When you fight a right-handed and you're a southpaw, like I teach one of my southpaws right now, I'm training. make sure your lead leg, your Lomachenko's lead leg, which is his right leg, is outside position on that Japanese guy's lead leg, which is his left leg. When you got your lead, it's all about positioning for southpaw. When you got your lead leg position outside of your opponent's lead leg, when you're a southpaw, you could pivot around them. You could turn the corner, okay? All right, and you won't be getting hit by a lot of counters and stuff like that. But if you have your lead leg on the inside of your opponent's, the right-handed fighter of your opponent's, you're right in the direct line of the fire, that straight right hand, okay? So it's best to move to your right. Stay to your right most of the time, I call it. But if you can't stay to your right, well, hey, circle around them. Circle around to your left, okay? But just don't stand right in front of them. Right into the direct line of fire like a punching bag. You're gonna get hit a lot. Joe, this game it's a chess match. It's a boxing IQ. Okay, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Vasyl Lomachenko has a very high one, guys. So we'll see how it plays out in the main event of the evening from Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas, Nevada on ESPN. And guys, that's just about it. Coach Gogue, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience?
No, I like this new platform, and God willing, we'll start getting the numbers up and the views and everything. Then you guys can ask me questions and all that about boxing or my experience or whatever, man. I got a million stories. I got a million stories. I forgot 999,000 of them. But I don't know. So all of a sudden, Joe, something would just pop in my mind. Oh yeah, I remember that. You know what I mean? Like Don Chargan, when I used to talk to Hall of Fame promoter Don Chargan. Yep. I've known Don since '83. But every time I talked to him, always something came up new I never knew. I'm like, talk about a fighter. We'll talk about Sugar Ray Robinson one day. I'll tell you the stuff he told me about. Don Chargan was a good friend with Sugar Ray Robinson. He was a real close friend and Marciano. I'll tell you some stories about that one day.
Well, I tell you what, hopefully one day soon. But Gogue, once again, great job, man. And we always learn something new from you, brother. God bless you guys. That's just about it. On behalf of Maestro James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Please subscribe. And guys, also please bookmark fightsaga.com. But that's just about it. Have a wonderful Sunday evening and Father's Day, everybody.